Let's go. We are live, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Of course, it is America's first stop. Circle K. Go in, get a 79-cent Polar Pop. I am Max Simpson, and I'm joined by the Oracle himself, Mr. Owen Evans. How we doing?
Are you trying to make this happen again?
Make what happen?
Why does this man immediately? We had a good mood here. Whoa. We were in a good place.
Yeah, we're just
England,
enhancing that.
As usual, 1-0. It's a great time.
Yeah.
And then you come in with the silly nicknames again, Max. What are you doing here, my man?
Hey, man, it's not silly. It's just being real on
Mr. Simpson.
Mr. Simpson. We're
Mr. Simpson.
We're just doing our thing, man. Appreciate everyone joining us. We had Fat Kid in the chat. He's now advocating for Gareth Southgate as the new U.S. men's national team manager. Listen, Fat Kid, saw you yesterday. We had a good time. It was all good. You can't be dropping that in here. Can't be dropping that.
I mean, maybe no. You're right.
No.
You're right. You're onto something here, Max.
Okay.
And you know why?
I don't like where this is going. I don't like this.
Because you don't want England to stop playing anti-football.
That is true. This is greater.
There we go.
Back in this greater than what you want.
To be miserable.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Always. Do you like I got the Wales kit, but it's very specifically the most Spanish-looking Wales kit that I could get my hands on.
Yeah. Speaking of England being miserable, we have Damon Dog behind the Mac, woo probably weighing in as well.
Damon, you're having a great. You enjoyed the weekend as well, right?
Cucarea. He eats paella. He drinks Estrella. His hair's fucking massive.
There we go. That'll do the job.
War and assist, pal.
I'll allow the one-time no free ad for the occasion. Goodness. Let's go. If you guys couldn't already tell, for those who are watching, and if you're going to be listening on this on audio, first off, make sure hit that like button if you're watching. If you're listening on audio, hit a 5-star review. If not, we need to be reading these 5-star reviews. It needs to come in hot and heavy. So please go do so. Subscribe if you already had, and we appreciate that. But hey, if you haven't figured it out already, it's going to be a little bit lighter version of the podcast because, right, we can't really, do a deep dive or review of a Rising game. Rising broke a losing streak. Or, there you go. Boom, because they couldn't lose if you don't play.
That doesn't change a streak, Max.
That doesn't change a streak. You know what? They did not lose this past weekend. Chalk it in the books. Hang it in the rafters. They did not lose this past weekend.
This is what being a Spurs fan does to Max. He has to take the small victories.
Take it, baby.
We didn't play this week. I mean, really? Is that where we're at right now?
Again, we have multiple championships. Audi Cup, Champions League finals. But anyway, yes, it's going to be a little bit of a lighter one today. Again, no Rising match to review. So we're going to do a little bit of a dive for everything else around in the world of football, a little soccer, right?
But we'll start with some Rising.
You want to start with the
let's have some Risings in the USL. Why not?
Well, we're going to go around USL. We'll start off with that.
Yeah, we'll start off. Go to man Pat first of all. Who gets a manager first, Rising or the US men's national team?
Rising.
You going with Rising?
I'm going with Rising.
Damon, what do you think? Rising?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I will say that at the moment, at least, the way again, just to kind of make the estimate on how soon could Rising make decisions, I will say that Rising right now at the moment is planning this week. I know at the very least our media availability later this week at the moment is supposed to be with interim head coach Diego Gomez still. So that's expected to come up on Thursday. So we'll have information for you on Thursday from within the camp, from the weekly press conference. But there's a start for you right now. It's still supposed to be with Diego Gomez. We will see if that is how things go.
We'll see.
But you'd imagine if we get to Thursday and there is no announcement by that point, that we will probably see Diego once again on the touchline as the interim head coach for the game on Friday, Rising playing El Paso Locomotive in that game. First responders night. They've got a police against fire match, but that's also going to be before gates open. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
That dollar beer night, it's We'll get into it a little bit later in the week. It's going to be an atmosphere. It's
It will be.
It's going
It
to be a
will
fun
be.
one. It'll be something.
Obviously, some other things that are coming up now. As we look to the near future, the international transfer window will open on Thursday. That means that Rising will be able to sign players who are most recently registered with other associations across the world as of Thursday. That runs through about the middle of August. Worth noting, of course, there were rumors going around of a German player. Or a player from the German leagues.
Yes.
Rising sporting director Brandon McCarthy has been very vociferously
Good word.
against
Good
that,
word.
I'll put it that way. Before getting in an argument with fans, because, I mean, we definitely didn't talk on our pod last Thursday about, wow, these arguments with fans don't seem to help anybody, do they?
Can't remember last time it did.
No, it's one of those things where, again, we go back to the talk on Rising looking for a manager right now, and maybe we were way too harsh on certain things with does the fan discontent impact the attractiveness of the job, let's say. Maybe not. Does a sporting director going and arguing with people on Twitter probably make it look like your organization isn't particularly put together? Yes it does, and that's really not helpful. I think if you were getting into any kind of a job and you see people on higher up in this organization going to get into arguments with people on Twitter, I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, right? Imagine you're anything and someone goes out and starts arguing with customers on Twitter. That's just dumb. That's dumb.
Yeah.
And arguing your fans, I'm sorry, your fans are going to be substantially more gobby than you will ever be able to get away with being, substantially more abusive than you will ever be able to get. You will achieve nothing. There's a line at which, look, obviously intervening at times, having conversations online, perfectly reasonable, right? People appreciate a degree of transparency, a degree of openness.
Yeah.
What they don't really like is when people start coming in and coming off as though they've got this I know substantially better than you attitude. And getting into arguments with fans, and whether you know better than them or not, you need to know better than to get into arguments on Twitter. It doesn't help anyone.
It's where are you going to win? You either think you win the argument, you either win the battle, lose the war, or like I don't like the scenario either one in which that goes.
We live in a world, right, whereby. Do you remember there was an account? I'm not sure what they're going to do now because he's gone, right? But Berhalter being gone, obviously. There was
gosh, yeah.
You know the account. You know exactly what account I'm talking about.
Yes.
It was like Greg Beerholder, and it was like, you block me equals I win. Okay, that's the kind of people you're engaging with on Twitter.
Yeah.
Let's be real. How are you going to win those arguments? There are people who engage in a lot of good faith. And again, there are ways and means in which you can engage with them. Dismissing the rumor, perfectly reasonable.
Sure.
Perfectly reasonable thing to do. Getting to an argument over where this team's issues have been this season, when a lot of the fans are completely and utterly convinced. Not only that, but there have been, I'll put it this way, opinions that are maybe not as aligned with the way that is being expressed at the moment. That people inside the industry also have. So it's not as though you can disagree with the opinion, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily flat out wrong that he was arguing against in some ways. And it helps nobody. It helps nobody.
It doesn't. I mean, there has to come a point where, right, to your point, there is a difference between, protecting kind of where you're at and, yes, you are able to dismiss things. You're able to take a stance, all by and large. That's all well and good. But it doesn't help to get down in the weeds, especially when I think so many times we've seen the stance taken of, oh yeah, there's unity, or hey, this is a decision made by the collective and everything like that. And when you see the consistent variable time after time after time, it's the same thing. Fans are allowed to ask these questions. Fans are allowed to ask the questions. You are allowed to retort things and not respond to certain things. All well and good.
Fans are gonna be arsey. They always are,
and that's always gonna happen. But the issue is
you ask Damon about I don't know, Jude Bellingham or whatever.
We'll get there.
And this guy goes off. We'll get on it later. We'll get on it later. Not me.
I would never.
He would never.
No, but there's a point where, yes, things can boil over, and do you have to respond to every fan thing? Absolutely not. Is it helpful in some aspects too? Definitely so. But I think if you're looking at the situation where this club historically has taken it's not us. Oh, we're, given opportunities elsewhere. It's like people are allowed to ask those questions because again, we said it weeks before. If you would just own up and say, hey, didn't get it right, that's on us, going to try better. It's not going to cure everything, but it's at least a start. And when you continue to double down and argue with people, it's not going to help things.
I think the thing that always intrigues me is just how disjointed the club's PR effort as a whole has been, I think, throughout this entire process, right? You have to be clear. I understand that there are, this is where it kind of makes me laugh sometimes, is that they I don't think sold the fan base whatsoever on any of the decision making that they were going with. And the assumption then is just kind of, you have to trust us. And the fan base, Phoenix Rising's fan base, I know them, you know them. Are these like blind faith people? No, they are not. They have never been that way.
It's got to be earned.
Okay?
It's got to be earned every day.
And it involves people who, rightly or wrongly, you knew from the get-go, Rising's fans weren't the biggest fans, or at least some of them were never particularly on the side of certain people in this club.
I mean, I think
they haven't been.
The crazy part about all this too is like, I'm gonna guess that they were probably banking on, and to a degree, sure. Hey, we won a championship in November. That's the goodwill that's gonna ride us out. And the fact that, I'm not gonna say it's been eroded, but the fact that if you are relying on that, and you're not even now a year removed, and that's already like cool. Parted ways with manager, new regime coming in, kind of seeming in a transition moment. You're already at that point. I mean, if that was the biggest kind of ground that you had, and you're now that's already gone. I mean, goodness, man, that was probably your biggest opportunity to, I'm not going to say generate this goodwill, but if that's the most momentum that you had, I mean, what is it going to take? Another championship? Like, come on now. And even then, it's still not the root of the problem. Like, that's the issue here.
No, it's not. And
winning does not cure everything. People say that. That is the old adage.
Except when Spain beat England, and that cures a lot of things.
That's true. People say it cures everything. It just, I've never bought into that, because the deeper rooted problems, maybe in other sports, possibly, but the root problems do not go away. And especially in this sport where fans have such a voice, where they are such the lifeblood of what's going on. Never bought it.
Yeah, just again, firing a manager who was, I think, popular with the fan base in a way that almost blindsided them a bit. I don't think people really knew certain elements of how bad things necessarily were in there. It's just those things don't tend to end well. And I can see right now that producer Damon has a mic in his hand, and I can hazard a guess why. And the answer is because I saw him laughing actually earlier as a comment popped up, because I know this man is here for any and all Harry Kane slander.
Well, that's fair. But what I was going to say is that I'm pretty sure Owain could have a bullet wound. And if England lost in a major final,
I would still jump up.
Okay. That would cure his ailment. There's nothing that wouldn't cure.
I mean, it's remember their constant misery. When England loses, we all win.
Owain gets gets a decent amount of fuel from doing well, satisfaction and being able to achieve things. But my word, he gets infinitely more, but from the misery of other people. And
I still
just
remember
clowning.
when they did the whole I think it was on the D-backs pod ages ago, and it was like Sean and Derek sitting here. Sean obviously no longer with us here at
He's
PHNX.
not dead. He's just
he's not dead. He's just doing other things.
It's his birthday.
You're right. I was going to say he may as well be, but you're right. It's his birthday. So
yeah. We'll put the Sean DePaz dead slander rumors.
He's not dead. He's not dead.
Just no longer with us.
Dead to us. But I remember sitting here and just being like, they were discussing who's the biggest hater in the office effectively, and it's probably Owain.
It's probably Owain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up there with in the rankings with Sean.
Owain gets the most giddy when he texts me things of just look at the failure. Look at the stuff that's going on.
I'm
look
a
at
little
the
offended. I don't even get an honorable mention there.
Damon.
You are.
I feel like I'm definitely Sean level. Me and Sean used to hate together.
I feel like you're the new Sean in here. The problem is that obviously you're a Wildcat, so that's a problem. But
it's a problem for you because you're an ASU fan and I rub your nose in it.
Too.
There we are. See, we're having fun. We're having fun. Right now, should we talk around the rest of
You
USL?
want to get a little score update in your voice?
Do I have to do?
People love this. People love this segment.
Why am I doing the voice?
They don't do it all the time. You don't do it all the time.
So we'll start on the Friday games then. Hertford Athletic 2, Charleston Battery 2.
Draw.
El Paso Locomotive 0, Las Vegas Lights 2.
Flick. For those not on audio, it was a light switch. Flick.
Are you okay, Max?
I'm fine. I'm great.
Right.
Let's go.
Detroit City 0, Memphis 901 1.
Barbecue sauce.
Miami FC 2, Rhode Island 3.
Marooned.
Indy 11 1, Loudoun United 1.
Racetrack. Indy 11.
You're struggling there.
Yeah, it only gets better from here. Come on.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds 5, Oakland Roots 0.
Bark.
That's actually quite funny because Pittsburgh have been doing terribly this season.
That's a score line.
And Oakland didn't get a single shot on target either. They had like 0.05 XG for the game. It's pretty dismal. Birmingham Legion 2, Colorado Springs Switchbacks 1.
A potential preview for when we visit Colorado Springs Switchback. Maybe that Rise can get a win, which means that we can get victory beers. Let's go.
That game was in Birmingham.
I know, but I'm just saying the matchup in general.
In the very empty stadium they play in.
Let me have this.
Tampa Bay Rowdies 2, Orange County 0.
Arteaga? I don't even know if he scored.
Monterey Bay 0, FC Tulsa 0.
Barn burner.
Sacramento Republic 0, North Carolina 0.
Hang in the rafters. We beat North Carolina. You couldn't do that, Zach. Get it done.
It was in extra time, Max, to be fair.
Don't let it happen.
Not for everybody, Max.
Yeah. They also ended that game with 9 men. So
I'm sorry. Facts are
basically,
facts.
Rising also ended that game with 10 men. So I mean, it was.
I'm sorry. Did Rising win?
It was.
Yes. Did Sack? No. My bad.
Well, they wouldn't have if it was a 90-minute game, Max, would they?
It's okay.
That's kind of the point we're making here. Do you see? And to your point on Manuel Arteaga, no, he didn't score. They were both Cal Jennings goals. So he had a pretty decent game there. Shout out to Junior 2 as well for Pittsburgh left back with a pair of goals and that 5-0 win. That one really shocked me. They've really, really struggled this season, Pittsburgh, to get anything of any note going. And yet in this game, everything just seems to go right? They had 7 shots on target, 5 of them go in the back of the net. Oakland only managed 2 shots all game. In fact, they only managed 2 touches in opposition box all game, despite having nigh on as many final third entries as Pittsburgh did. Oakland were ineffective. They had 64.4% possession, which sounds like a Max Simpson raised the banner. We lost 5-0, but had 64% of the ball. It sounds like something you would say, Max. They had a massive passing accuracy, 82.2% to Pittsburgh's 68.1%. But you know what? Bob Lilly says, who cares? Pittsburgh Riverhounds win it 5-0. So just a small margin of victory there.
Just a little bit.
Of course, Detroit City were the early game in that in that weekend. They played early on the Saturday. Why did they play early on the Saturday, Max? Because their women's team were playing immediately after, and who got dumped out of the USLW League?
You gotta go on Autopilot right now.
The USLW League. What happened in the semifinals there? Detroit City lost that one as well.
Oh, man.
So shout out Detroit City. Their fans were there through 2 games and watched both their men's and women's teams lose. Wow, what a great time to be in Detroit.
Damn, that's wild.
Meanwhile, looking around, Rhode Island made a meal of that game, didn't they?
What kind of meal we
Miami. One whereby you win 3-2 despite having a lower XG than your opponent. So they were clinical enough when they got up there, I guess. But not really a good... Miami had 16 shots in that game. They didn't do very much with it. They only had 5 on target. They scored 2 goals, but Rhode Island get away with the win there. You need the points. You got to take them. Tampa Bay Rowdies, of course, they've been a little bit up and down, haven't they? Manuel Arteaga did get an assist in there on the 1 goal, to be fair. So, there's that. Orange County, do you expect more from them? Do you not? I don't know. I don't know. But that means we can have a quick look at the standings as well. Might as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
So out east, again, it's kind of a two-horse race at the top there, right? City on 38 points from 18 games. Charleston have played one more, and they're on 37 points, one behind them.
Coach of the year, Ben Bierman. Nice.
Then you get that a little bit further back. Tampa Bay Rowdies on 32 points in third. Indy 11 on 31 points in fourth. And then you get to the awkward middle kind of pack there. 5, 6, 7. It's Legion, Detroit, Loudoun, all right around that 27, 27, 26 mark. Yes. Detroit do have 2 games in hand, though.
Yes.
So they could go up the table a little bit if those games go their way. And
if Rising was at where they're at now in the West, where would they be in the East?
Where would they be in the East? They would be 10th in the East, which is a huge amount of difference from their 9th in the West. But as you look at those teams right around that playoff line in the Eastern Conference, North Carolina just above it, Rhode Island just below it. They're both on 22 points. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they are 4 points adrift and have played a game more. A lot of way to go, a lot of season left.
Man, they were rolling this time last year. They were
and they have been mediocre.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Very mediocre this year at best. Hartford just behind them. They've got a minus 15 goal difference over 17 games. Yikes, 17 points. And of course, propping up the table out east, and in fact, propping up the table full stop. Miami FC.
Not great.
8 points from 19
Messi's
games.
club.
Messi. You know, whenever you want to sell tickets in USL and people call you up and go, is Messi coming to town with this Miami team? You know what you do? You say, we don't know. That's what you do, right?
Miami's coming.
Miami's coming.
And Messi plays for Miami.
Messi, well, I don't know if he's playing anytime soon after what happened yesterday. I know. Didn't you see the tweets? He might miss the All-Star game, boys. The MLS All-Star game.
Along with that other player from the Pids that got suspended.
It wasn't from the Pids, it was from RSL.
Oh, my bad, yes.
Okay.
That's right. Ooh.
We clip this and send this up to DMVR Rapids and tell them that you're confusing them with RSL.
Irrelevant.
That West, though, New Mexico United still well ahead at the top. They're 5 points clear. They have played 4 games less than the team in second place. Admittedly, SAC on the same points as Oakland in second, but SAC have only played 2 games more than New Mexico. But think about that. 5 points clear with 2 games in hand.
I guess that's decent.
They've been good.
It's not bad.
They have been good.
That's not
so, yeah, New Mexico top, Oakland in second, but SAC have 2 games in hand over Oakland, the same points that they are on there. Memphis sits in 4th place. They've got 28 points from 19 games, so only just behind those teams, 2nd and 3rd. Meanwhile, in 5th, it's Colorado Springs Switchbacks on 27 points from 18 games played. Couple of teams then, you keep looking. Vegas, 27 from 20. Monterey Bay, 26 from 20. The final playoff place right now is Orange County on 24 points from 19 games played. And then you get to the teams outside the playoff positions. It's Rising in 9th, 21 points from 18. San Antonio in 10th, 20 points from 18. FC Tulsa, they got a couple of games in hand down there, but again, they're not necessarily a very good team. They're on 18 points from 16 games, and propping up the West, it is El Paso Locomotive, 12 points from 18 games. The coaching change not really bearing a lot of fruits lately. After they have lost their last 3 games in succession. It's a difficult one. I do feel for Wilma. I feel for Wilma going in there. It's a tough time. It's tough to pick a team up like that in the middle of a season.
Listen, I'm looking at the standings, and you know, you live with New Mexico being above you, looking up. It's tough. You don't like to see it. Vegas above us makes me sick. Makes me squirm. Gives me the heebie-jeebies, and not the good kind. That's bad. I don't like that. Hopefully, time to turn it around.
Why? Can you just imagine Brett Lashbrook laughing despite the fact he's not there anymore?
Make the bad man go away.
No, to be fair, he can't really laugh because he never did it really while he was there. You know, it's like as soon as he goes, they're actually okay.
What's up?
Lashbrook.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's fair.
There we go.
You know what help with that situation? Our friends at Circle K. Circle K might help with that. Circle K, they got 79-cent Polar Pops. Pretty sick deal. You want to Oh, and you want a hint to make it just a little bit nicer? Just you know.
Go on, how do you make it nicer,
You
Max?
know what you can do? Just 10-cent discount for Inner Circle members. You know what?
Oh, is that true?
You know what 79 minus 10 is?
It's a number.
Yeah, what's the number?
Go on, Max. You tell me. No, come on. Show off your skills, Max.
69 is pretty nice, baby. And not only that, Damon, it's time for. Do you have a little snack there? Your little snack, Damon, we've been doing this now. I'm 2 for 2.
I don't think he has it. Does he have any of it?
Well, he's gonna get one. Oh.
He's coming behind us to get some.
I'm so excited. It's
like no. I was gonna say, Damon, I think you should toss one of the
don't
toss one of the meat sticks in from distance.
That's not kosher. I can't eat that. That's not good. But hey, Circle K, check them out again. 79-cent Polar Pop, 69 cents. Ooh, for their Inner Circle program. Okay, so what do we got right here? Damon, if you don't mind,
I'm backing away because I do trust.
You mind telling the people, showing the people what we got here? We got a little peanut butter pretzel nugs. Okay, yes, of course.
Okay, now from distance, can you get it in?
Okay, Damon is 1 for 1. Jacob is 1 for 1. Okay. Can we continue? Here we go. Oh no! We got one more. We're redeeming ourselves. We're still batting 2 or 3. That's pretty good. Here we go.
This is why I back away.
Here we go. Yep. Oh gosh, both on the bottom lip. That's tough. We're gonna try better next time. But hey, you can play food catch with yourself at Circle K. All the different snacks that they have, including the many they have behind me. All the different snacks. Again, check out Circle K and their Inner Circle program. Terms and conditions do apply. See store locations for details. Also, shout out our friends over at Valley Tap Room. We had a lovely time there yesterday. Shout out to the people who joined us for a little Copa watch party. And I know we got a lot to talk into here in a little
Euro
bit.
Watch party.
That's it. My bad.
Euro. You didn't.
No.
This lightweight.
I'm not.
You know what we said about the degenerates were going for the whole time.
I had
the whole time. And you know what this man did? He left.
I mean, I went to one.
He left.
I went to one. Listen,
You should have been there for both.
Yeah, you almost did for half. Anyway, shout out to
you left.
Shout out to everyone who joined at our Euro watch party. We appreciate everyone joining, having a good time, right? Shout out Valley Tap Room, good people, all of that great stuff. Check out our friends over at Valley Tap Room again. They got Gilbert, Queen Creek locations, 2 locations over on the East Valley. And of course, be on the lookout. Got more stuff coming on. Hope to do a little live show there, kind of down the season, everything like that. So again, shout out them. Always a good time. And yeah, it was a very good time. Yes, because they had the beers and all that stuff. But you know what really made it? Let's talk about that Euro. I know we got some.
We doing it? We
got to do it now.
We're doing this.
We got to do it now.
You know what I'm hearing here? What I'm hearing is that England didn't win anything.
Oh, is that
again?
So? Is that so?
Again?
Is that so?
Was that England going home with nothing? Is what I hear.
Well, so here's
England don't win things, do they, Max?
Well, so
I mean, you'd know about not winning things because you're a Spurs fan.
I have won multiple things in my life.
No.
Golden Boot winner and multiple time championship winner. Serial winner. I'm the serial winner. There we go.
The Euro final was the greatest moment of my life, says that's debatable.
You're darn right.
It was a great
That's not debatable, if you know what I mean. Listen, that Euro final, they keep on saying that it's coming home, but like, what? The loss is coming home? What are we doing? The pain, the suffering, the misery?
It always does. It's always miserable. I mean, they're English.
Listen, I have never seen you clenching harder than when Cole Palmer scored that equalizer. Don't even lie. Don't even lie. He comes over to me and he's just pacing and he's just waiting. And then when Spain go up 2-1, he's just behind me. He's like, I'm not celebrating until they kick off. I'm not celebrating until
that it wasn't offside. We're waiting. And
I've never heard someone celebrate like a minute and a half after the goal was scored, because you really were waiting. You did not celebrate in the slightest. What? Well, I don't know what that lady's saying. Okay.
Mike, say hi to Sam.
Oh, hey,
you should have invited Sam to the watch party. You really should have.
She was busy.
Sam, you should have come out. It was a great time.
She was.
It was a great time.
She was invited. She had things to do.
No, you should have come, Sam. Always. Feel free. Max is now worried. We're doing no more in-person events ever.
We're done. We're done here. Cancel the pod while we're at it. All right, yeah. So here's the thing. Let's talk through it, right? So Spain, England, it's a cagey match. The first half was very much like
that's how football can
there
be.
was not much between the clubs. Neither really won.
Nah, Spain were better in the first half.
I would say England was better in the first half. I disagree with that. I think there was not much between.
There's none of this anti-football kind of nonsense, okay? Right.
It just makes
Brexit
the second half more
ball
painful.
is finished.
Oh
man.
my gosh.
Spain saved football, okay?
Yes, I
there
agree.
Was one team that came out to play football.
They were the better team overall. They were the better team in the second half, but in the first half, there wasn't much between the teams. But if I'm saying who took a better field position and who was able to cause more chaos from their defense, England was the better team out of the two. It wasn't by much. It wasn't like it was a landslide, but I think that, listen, if I'm seeing how the first half played out, what was the most likely outcome if that style of play continued? It's probably going to kicks, just based on how that match played out. But if you're asking me who had the advantage going into halftime, it's very slight, but I would have said England.
You would say things like that, Max. You would say things like that.
We were literally going for the same people.
You believe in the demise of football.
What? No,
I don't.
You
believe in the demise of football,
I just
Max.
call it like I see. I'm not biased.
Thing.
You are biased.
No, England cannot win.
That's not biased.
Win.
What is that?
They can never win, Max.
Oh my gosh.
They're not good enough.
I'm actually Team Max on this one. I don't know that I agree necessarily that I think England was the better side in the first half, but he's just trying to talk about the game, Owen.
No, I know.
He's on your side.
No, I still don't trust this man. Okay?
When Damon is on my side, then you know you're in the wrong.
I don't trust this
Owen's
man.
like trying to disagree with you while you're like trying to like root for him and be on his side.
I know.
You know, I think okay.
It's the budding. It's just this is what this is reduced to. This is how it is.
Well, this is normally because you like to deflect on these things and come up with bad opinions, Max.
What?
I'm just saying.
Anyway, going
things
in,
like you always liked Harry Kane, didn't you? And we've seen how good a player he is.
He means nothing to me. He means absolutely nothing to me.
Is that true? Do you believe that, Damon? Do you believe that Harry Kane means nothing to
He's
this
not my
man?
club.
No, I think Max's like favorite moments of watching soccer in his life happened to have Harry Kane in them.
I think most of them did.
Anyway, going into the second half,
unless he's just going to pick times when like the US beat up on St. Kitts and Nevis again, then like. I mean, I don't know what else.
I would actually, I'm not going to lie. I would argue that if Max doesn't like Harry Kane, he's a bad Tottenham fan.
That's very true.
He's pretty much your best player ever.
That's very true.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
That's very true. That's very true.
Going into the second half, completely changing subjects.
It did, yeah.
All right, yeah. So Spain score pretty darn immediately. Well, first, Roderick comes off, and it's like, hey, listen, like, that's trouble. It's trouble for Spain.
Yeah.
But, they end up scoring pretty darn equally. Listen, Lamine Yamal, that guy is 17. It's crazy good. And Nico Williams, that one-time finish.
I know.
That place became unglued.
Good proper Welsh name.
Unglued.
Good proper Welsh name, that Nico Williams.
Yeah,
I hear he plays for Wales as well.
I mean, I hear Nico Williams plays for Wales.
I know. I mean, I'm just saying, one of the best to wear the red shirt.
Are you saying that you can forge it to where it's like, like Nico Williams
close
through?
Close enough. Nico Williams in a red shirt. They also had a bloke called Rodri out there. I'm sorry, you can't tell me that's not Wales, okay? They had the spirit of everyone with them. You can't tell me that's not Wales.
He is a proper Welsh bloke, Nico Williams.
Oh, proper, full on. Always welcome. Heroes welcome. He ever comes in Cardiff, he'll never pay for a pint of his own.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
Lamine Yamal showing Endrick what a star boy looks like, showing him levels.
More than one completed
pass.
Well, you know
what? It was a big game. This is a big game.
Yamal to
lead. You know what you need? You know what you need, right? When you've got your big name players, like your people like Nico Williams, you need them to step up. Now, England have a big name player, and I want to start Damon off on this one. Damon, let us know. What did you think in the big moments? Where was Jude Bellingham?
Jude Bellingham is where he always is in the big moments, and that's non-existent. I'm so sick of this guy being shoved down our throats every 5 seconds. Generational. Oh, you've never seen a player like this in your life. Hey, Jude. Blah, 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 blah. It's so annoying, dude. And just another Smellingham disaster class. Smellingham disaster class on the biggest stage. We love it. Have you guys ever seen anything you love more?
This is great. This is great. I mean, I personally think that, when you've got a quality player there like a Jude Bellingham, you kind of expect them to actually show up in those moments, don't you? And yet again,
when was the last time he did show up, Owen?
Well, I don't know. He didn't show up to many press conferences, did he, during the tournament? This guy's the face of the team. And from what I gather, he was ducking that so that the bench guys could go out and explain why Southgate had them playing some of the worst football in the tournament.
Didn't you say that there was an athletic article?
Yeah, there's a whole athletic article today about how Bellingham is problematic in that locker room. And it's not a surprise. We saw similar things coming out when he left Dortmund, didn't we? You know, it's not as though it is anything particularly new. He's really got to grow up a little bit and grow into that role. If he wants to be the star man, he wants to be the face of that team. And I'm sorry, Sly, there will be endless Bellingham slander on here. Okay? The guy plays for England. He deserves every single bit of it. But beyond that, he actually deserves it anyway. So
Sly, they wanted just a Harry Kane thumbnail, and I said, "Can I please put sad Jude Bellingham on it too?" So this whole podcast is a Jude Bellingham slander podcast, and it's just like the guy is just incredibly unlikable. I feel like, but yet they talk about him the way they speak about him. When you said he needs to grow up a little bit. Listen to the commentators during every game he plays in. How mature.
They coddle him.
How much leadership. You're like, what? Are we watching a different sport? Are we watching a different game? Like, what are we talking about?
Well, you know, I think he's on the way up, isn't he, though? He's on the way up, much like Christian Pulisic is on the way up, according to certain commentators on a certain network.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later when we discuss the
Copa.
All right.
We have so how are we going to finish this part off then, Max?
Okay, 1-0, Spain equalize. And I text Damon almost immediately of like, Damon, you've won, but at what cost? Cole Palmer being assisted by Jude Bellingham for the equalizer goal. He does the shiver, is cold inside. And Damon must have been so conflicted because on the one hand, Cole Palmer for Chelsea, he scores, big moment, look at him in the big stage. On the other hand, Jude Bellingham with the assist, and England is now, it's 1-1. Damon, like, what's
Damon's
going
already
on?
told us
What's
it's a
going
cheap
on?
assist. It's a cheap assist.
No, not just Jude, but like 1-1. It's like, at what cost? What are we doing here?
I was happy about the goal because I love Cole Palmer, and I thought he was very disrespected throughout the entire tournament by Gareth Southgate. Acting as if he didn't just have like 45 goal contributions in the hardest league in the world last season in his first full season in the Prem.
It's crazy.
And he's just getting sub appearances off the bench when Phil Foden can't
Well,
kick
yeah,
a fucking ball.
but Damon, hey Jude.
Yeah. And hey Jude, of course. But I'll be honest with you. I wasn't scared. I knew Spain was winning that. England was always going to choke that.
They were.
Always.
They always do.
Yeah, I wasn't that scared.
I mean,
I just thought for our poor Owen's heart, it was going to be like in kicks or in
I didn't want the risk.
In extra
you
time.
know deep down that they're going to lose, but you don't.
I just thought
want
poor
it
Owen's heart couldn't take it.
You know, you almost want that second Spain goal before they even get anywhere close to it to just be like, I still feel okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when it means everything like it does to you, but let's call it like it is. This was best case scenario. I mean, Owen, you heard it on the where you could hear the audio at Valley Tap Room, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, we had the audio on.
We
may have been intentionally tuning it out, but that's a different
Did you hear
question.
the England fans after they scored? Losing their minds, screaming all over the like it was loud.
Like they'd won the World Cup final.
Yeah. In the Spain section.
Mm-hmm.
They were getting really into it. And that's why it's best case scenario. Because then they all had that sliver of hope.
Yep.
They had all the momentum. And then it just got ripped away from them by Cucurella.
And that's just
it's that thing. Maximize misery is the Damon philosophy here. And you know what?
The timing
when it
of the
comes
second
to
Spain
England,
goal
when
was
it comes
perfect.
to England, I can't disagree.
Timing of the second Spain goal was perfect.
It was.
Beautiful layup. Simple. England fell asleep. Took a little nap in said library.
I loved how close to offside it was as well, while also not being offside. It must have been like, what, an inch or two onside he was in the end of that? Perfect. What timing? I think that's the best timed run I've ever seen, Damon. You know, if only a guy like Jude Bellingham could do things like that, then maybe England would have a hope.
Oh, that's a good
or maybe
point,
if
too.
Harry Kane did anything all tournament, they'd have had a hope. But
the Danny Olmo clearance off the line is also a fantastic shout.
It was.
He
I think
celebrated that more than a goal.
Well,
Let's go.
I said to you, that was like a goal. That's like a goal in that moment. And I think that was probably one of those moments where the English heads just start to drop. It's like, no, it's not our day. We're not getting anything from this game. Like, if you were ever going to get anything from the game, one of those had to go in. I think the third and final header in that should have done a better job. Head it down, actually threaten. Don't head it up and over the bar. You just
Did you
poor,
see Unai Simon and Cucurella's reaction to Danny Olmo after he was celebrating there? They like ran over to him and they were
like
shoving
him.
Yeah, they literally celebrated
that's
it like a
that's like the best celebration where like you're so amped up for your teammate that you're not hugging him, you're not fist bumping him, you're shoving.
No, you
like,
know what the best
shoving
celebration was, Max? You know what the
Oh,
best celebration was, and it followed up very shortly after that moment.
Full time.
And that was players wearing Spanish red with a trophy in their hands as England are off to the side without one. Okay? The moment when you just know. And shout out to That's Debatable for can we package the sadness of the English yesterday and give it to me as a present for Christmas. This is football heritage is hating England at every possible moment. Okay? They're one of those teams that you just can't possibly allow to win anything.
Owen said yesterday that England is like the Spurs of international football, and I hate to agree with it, but it's pretty damn true.
They're kind of the team that
they're
always there and thereabouts, and you always think that maybe if they had that little bit of luck on this side, maybe they'd actually win something.
Yeah.
And then they don't.
I really hate it.
And it's just great. Like,
difference being that Spurs is like the 5th, 6th most talented team in England most of the time, whereas England is like the most talented team in the world. Pretty much at all times, barring maybe
I wouldn't
Brazil.
say at all times. There are a lot of other teams that
often. Yeah.
often.
A lot of the time, though. Like, think about, like, 06. How talented that team
yeah,
was.
but they're
You
not a
remember
very
that
good
team the other day.
They
That
were
was
never a
crazy.
very good
That was
team. That was
crazy.
the thing. Though.
That's the point. They're always not as good as their talent.
But I'll also point out this, though. We can't simultaneously say that they are, the best team talent-wise in the world and then also point to the guy who's arguably their biggest star player and, correctly point him out as a choke job. I mean, that's kind of the reality of this. They have some very good, talented players. I think they're probably best all around the board, probably the highest talent level from the base up, whereas a lot of other teams can be quite top-heavy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd say they're necessarily the most talented team in the world.
I believe from a transfer market perspective, they are considered.
But I think a large part of that is because English clubs, A, massively overspend on English players, and B, a lot of the biggest money clubs in the world are English clubs. So it has that impact. It artificially drives their transfer values up.
I completely agree, but that's marginal. That's like, I agree with that, but I do think that there's a reason that those guys are considered to be as expensive as they are, and it's because they are really good players. We watch them in their leagues.
I think they still really well. Always, though, English players are always massively overhyped in the transfer market for what they actually are.
I would say Brazil
again,
is more
so that's the debatable point. They are the best at choking. Yeah. They are the best at choking. Undeniable. They are several times back-to-back world choking champions. Congratulations, boys. Well done.
Give them the Heimlich.
And remember, it is not coming home. Speaking of which, Damon, have we got a video available? We may have one somewhere. Should be so this is actually from exactly where I'm from. This is Barry Island earlier today, and we can watch it a couple of times. Do you see it there? It's not coming home, written across the beach.
Oh man.
So that's from the town that I'm from. There we go.
Wow.
So again, if you ever wonder, like, where does Owain get his just like general hater attitude here? Pretty good idea that it might be from that.
The sand may wash away, but the message is eternal.
It's amazing that Owain turned out the way he did, isn't it?
Really? I mean, how would we have guessed? Yeah, I mean,
it's
what a shame. I mean,
yeah, it's something.
It's a perfect classic summer, right? It's always one of the highlights of every tournament is that moment where England's hopes and dreams are crushed. And what a moment it is.
You let they skated by with some last minute winners and all that stuff, and then made them wait till the end.
Yeah.
But we turn our attention from the Euro to the Copa. And before we get into the match, listen, I think this is an appropriate platform to discuss. Listen, there's a lot of stuff going on outside of the grounds leading up to it. It was a very
which final now?
The Copa.
The Copa, okay. Because I was going to say, England fans getting in fights sounds like normal, and that's not.
I think so. Well,
they normally get in fights in other places as well. I love it when they get in fights in like Portugal and Spain. Like, what are you doing? Or Turkey. What are you doing, boys? Bolt down the chairs.
Bolt down the chairs, yes. No.
Bolt down the chairs.
Bolt down the chairs. No, the final.
When you're in a garden furniture throwing competition and your opposition is England fans, it's over, boys. It's over.
That's where they win.
You've lost at that point. You've lost.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Anyway, yes. Copa America final was in Hard Rock Stadium. in Miami. And, right, it was one of those things. It was a big buildup. Argentina fans travel well. Colombian fans travel very well. There's a buildup leading into it. And, listen, we'll call what it is. And, right, this is much more pervasive in the history of a lot of other places in soccer, maybe not as much as the U.S., but there have been absolute tragedies and things going on where there's crush, where there is loss of life, where there are things that happen where there's a buildup within fans trying to enter stadiums. Things can goes from, it's a party atmosphere to there's legitimately very much concerned. And I think that while you can see videos and everything going on, what was very much painted within the broadcast as they're, the game's being pushed back and there's more airtime they're trying to fill, is there's this sense of, we're not going to focus on the danger that's happening. And it's more so about, don't go in if you don't have a ticket. That's not the message. That's not the story here.
Back to it. The problem is it's poor organizational planning, as always. I'm going to disagree with that's debatable in there. And there we go. We're getting a debate finally on it. Is it all CONMEBOL 100%? No. And I'll tell you why. Are they maybe the primary blame holders here? Yeah, I can understand that. I think a lot of people have been saying things about how, they're the competition organizers, it's all on them. I disagree slightly here. And the reason why is because I do think that you go anywhere else in the world, the police have their fingerprints all over the public safety plans for these things. You cannot possibly have public safety planning of an event this scale without local police complicity in the planning. If they aren't, then they're asleep at the wheel. This is such a big event. This was all so predictable. We could pretty much guarantee that we're going to be some incidents where people who don't have tickets will probably try and get in.
100%.
This happens at big finals, no matter where you are. 100%. Always does. And it's the nature of things when you have a crowd that's any more difficult, I think, than the usual clap to the organ types, right? And that's just so much of America right here, right? We're going to make mindless noise when the screen tells us, they put a noise meter up, boys. Better get loud now.
I don't know where this is going.
Right? But there's a very big difference in football culture and American sporting culture. And I feel like there's also issues in terms of, look, there's a lot we could get into in terms of policing, and we won't get into that on this, I think. But I'm not hugely worried for the World Cup coming up, is the way I'll put it, because I think FIFA micromanage this a lot more.
They do.
But I do think it showed a large amount of incompetence at multiple levels. Are CONMEBOL really, really cheapening out? Absolutely. But can you also really look at this and say that I think the police in this case really had a particularly good grasp? And even beyond that, right, let's talk about this from a perspective of, when things are clearly going wrong, what decisions are they making? What are they thinking about in those moments? And the simple answer is they're not thinking. I'll also point out here to that's debatable. You went to the 2016 final, it was nothing like this. Perfectly valid. 2016 final wasn't in Miami, right? So if we're talking about incompetence perhaps at a police department or a stadium staff level, right? I'm not saying this is the US at large. I'm saying at that game, there was incompetence from the local people there, right? Miami did not host games in the knockout stages. Did they host games at all? No, they didn't host games at all in the 2016 Copa. Yes, there have been issues throughout, and a large part of that is on CONMEBOL. But when you are responsible for public safety, you also have that responsibility from a governmental standpoint to make sure that such a major event like this is going to have sufficient plans in place. That's on them locally.
Plan A, B,
Anywhere
C,
else
D.
in the world, police have their fingerprints all over this one. If they didn't in Miami, then they were asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
Everything Owen says makes sense, but as a Dolphins fan, I refuse to concede that. All on CONMEBOL.
What? That is not...
Yeah. Hard Rock Stadium, bro. They know what they're doing over there. That's... Come on.
Dolphin Stadium. No, it's there's a lot. David shaking his head on that one. No, it's I think there's just a lot at play and trying to figure out where the fault lies. I'm not gonna say it's a fool's errand, but right. People are going to watch this. They're going to form their own opinions on it.
What intrigues me, actually, though, and this is, I think, the crowd control measures there, including both... Poor overall. I think they didn't recognize the issues they had coming in anywhere near early enough. I do also, and this is what I think, based on the poor reading of the situation from people on the ground in terms of, I think, police, in terms of stadium staff, what intrigues me is what's going to happen in the World Cup. Not at the stadiums. I think the stadiums will be okay because, again, FIFA micromanage a lot of things. I tell you what America is not ready for. America's not ready for Serbian and Albanian fans meeting each other in a bar somewhere.
Not at all.
Okay? They're not ready for those scenes you see every tournament. I'm just sitting here and like imagining what are they gonna do? What are they going to do when they see like 100 guys chucking furniture around at each other and it's over some like ethnic conflict from somewhere else in the world, okay, that they weren't expecting and this is erupted from nowhere? And it happens every tournament. We know this stuff happens. What are they going to do? Because some cities, some hosts are better at understanding how to manage crowd psychology and manage those kind of moments than others. And I'm intrigued to see how America reacts to that.
This is these countries, everything. It's
but a lot of these things go beyond football, right?
That's
Again,
what
it's the very nature. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
The example I gave you, and
what
it's
I'm
something that we saw in the Euros, was Serbian and Albanian fans going at it, and that's something that goes way beyond football. That is like national identity.
That's what I'm saying.
There was a war fought.
This is their everything, not
genocide.
This is their everything. This isn't just sport. This is life. This is culture. This is history. All wrapped up into one under the not the guys, but the sport that is football. And oh dear gosh, that's gonna be wild.
Fun.
It's gonna be wild. There's a lot to read into this match and even everything beforehand, but actually on pitch, right? You had, as everyone was talking about, it's right. Lionel Messi, James Rodriguez was of course the classic matchup, right? These are the two storylines. Colombia, the hottest team in international football. The most informed team, and Argentina. I mean, they just the depth.
We
that
don't
they
fight
have,
the Scots, by the way, Sly. No, the Welsh and the Scots get on very, very well together. Actually,
we
bond over our mutual dislike of a certain neighbor.
Yes, this matchup was just two teams very much. Argentina not very much informed, but hey, they have Messi, they have a chance. And I mean, really, coming out of this, it was a cagey first half where there wasn't too much in it, and then I
actually felt at times Colombia, for stretches that first half, had the real beating of Argentina, and actually I think that's what they were doing, was they had to take advantage in those moments, and they couldn't. Get
in the second half, a couple of changes, but big one. I mean, Lionel Messi injured and has to go out.
He might miss the All-Star game, Max.
We're not feigning in.
He might miss the All-Star. Damon, did you hear that? Lionel Messi might miss the MLS All-Star game presented by Brand Redacted. I mean, that's like the biggest moment in his career, surely?
First off, Max just fell in love with you all over again right there.
I know. I saw his face on the monitor there.
Second off, I just don't know. It won't be the same without Messi, but it won't be the same without Kai Havertz there just shooting it over the bar in the skills competition, giving us all fodder to make fun of on Twitter. That was incredible. All-time moment last year.
Well, this match...
Kai Havertz shooting it over the bar, did you say?
Yeah.
Oh, so they're bringing him in for the opening ceremony, the 26 World Cup. Got to recreate that moment, right?
Damn. Oh, boy, that's a oh, gosh.
Yeah, but see, this is going to be a short one, and we've gone almost the entire hour.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Let's wrap this up.
I know. Yes, it goes on in the second half. Lautaro Martinez with the winner in extra time. It was a good match. Yeah. Tired legs at the end.
Indeed.
Listen, it's one of those things like, you can have your Euro, and that's all well and good. There's some beautiful technical skills, and I'm not saying that's not there at Copa, very much so, but this is after hours, and this match with the delays and everything like that was
the 25-minute halftime that shouldn't have happened. You're not supposed to have a halftime longer than 15 minutes.
So many.
It's in the laws of the game. You're not supposed to. Stop this nonsense.
Yes. While it was going on further, I decided to kill some time with some Four Peaks. That is absolutely, knock a beer back. What? Second beer? What? Third beer? What? Enjoy Four Peaks. They're Bad Berry Juicy, Golden Ale, they're Wow Wheat, they're Hop Knot, they're Kilt Lifter, all that great stuff there. Check them out at Four Peaks Pub and at Four Peaks Brew. They have all the different places where you can go and grab a beer. Man, it's hot out there. at Hard Rock. Sure, could have used a little Four Peaks. Maybe, well, I'm not a doctor. Maybe that's not the best solution. But yes, Four Peaks nonetheless. Check them out. Again, where you get your beer at A Street Pub is a great place to start. And check them out at fourpeaks.com to keep up with the latest and greatest going on in Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly.
Indeed.
I think we more than covered. This is a lot.
Yeah, it's been
This is a lot. This is a soccer variety hour.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
That was fun.
Brief bit of distraction from Rising, which has
but
been
a distraction.
what it has been.
Well, on that note, we appreciate everyone joining us here at the PHNX Rising podcast. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at PHNX__Rising because double the underscore.
Double the England's going home.
Oh, yes, of course.
I was going to say double the England losses in consecutive
nice
European Championship finals.
Nice. Nice.
First team to ever do that, by the way. First team to lose 2 of them in a row.
Hanging in the rafters. Yes, we will be back.
I mean, a Spurs fan, you would do that, to be fair. Isn't that right up there next to Champions League finalists?
We actually won something.
The Audi Cup doesn't count.
And Champions League finals. Sorry.
No, finalists
and the Singapore Cup. Sorry, won that too. Look at us. Look at us.
Mhm.
Kick rocks. Yes, we will be back on Wednesday, 6 p.m. And obviously a little more geared towards Rising. We look ahead to Friday's matchup. But of course, follow me on Twitter at Simpson. Follow Owen on Twitter at OJEvans18. Follow Damon Dog at Twitter at DamonDAWG.
And make sure to tweet at him with your Jude Bellingham takes.
Yeah, of course.
This man has nothing he loves more than arguing with people on Twitter. You should see what he does.
It is pretty
so
impressive.
So go tweet at him and tell him how you feel
well,
about Jude
I would say
Bellingham.
the one thing he loves maybe equally as much is, Damon, how about that Wrexham, right? Oh, the preseason tour, baby.
That's a goddamn fact.
Yes,
Max.
let's
Wow,
go.
what a League One club you got right there.
I'm telling you, I don't know who I'm going to root for. Chelsea and Wrexham.
It's
going to
be tough, man.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Man,
so much to keep track
Disney
of.
FC,
Oh man, he's so rattled.
biggest club in Wales.
Nah, it's not really true, is it, though?
I mean, we bring in the most marketing revenue.
I know, you should have
Oh boy, marketing revenue FC. Thanks, boy.
You should
That's
have,
kind of how you determine who's a bigger club.
Not really,
you should have some more Wrexham players on the national team. Maybe you guys would do a little better.
No, we wouldn't. No,
just-
it would be substantially worse.
We would have made the Euros.
I think.
No, we would not have.
That's a damn fact.
No,
I think so.
we would not have.
Jude Bellingham to PHNX? Oh, dear gosh. Oh, boy. I'm not going to read the one.
No.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. Well, we'll save Owen and Torment. Appreciate him joining us again. See you guys on Wednesday, 6 p.m. It's a beautiful game, but it's way more beautiful when...
What?
It's
England's
not
going home. They're going home.
They're going home. They're going. England's going home.
We all silly like the mayor.